All right, guys. Phenomenal morning. Phenomenal morning. This is your first breakfast with the brand in 2024. Listen, I could not be more excited. We have the phenomenal Bobby Jackson, of course, and Junior Frederick is joining us. Listen, this is your breakfast with the brand. I am your host, Sean East. Super excited. Got some announcements today. When I say I got some announcements today, I mean I have some announcements today. Phenomenal morning, gentlemen.
Yes, phenomenal morning. This morning I started off pretty well for me. I was able to get into the gym. Um, guys, I do outdoor gym. That's what I do. I don't like the indoor thing. I like the outdoor. You could see the sunrise, you could see the birds, you could see the clouds, the lush green vegetation of the island. So that's what I do. And plus there's something special about the air in the morning, Sean. If you live in an area where there's a lot of trees and stuff, there's something very special about it. And interestingly enough, I learned something whilst reading 2 days ago. So I learned that the reason why birds chirp in the morning. Okay, so you know how you wake up and there's birds chirping outside? The sound from their chirp actually activates the pores. It's called stomata in the leaves, and it causes the trees to breathe. Can you believe that? So when the birds chirp in the morning, they like they initiate some process in the trees, and that's how they breathe. So that's absolutely amazing, man.
Very good. Very good. Guys, you're getting a treat today. You're going to get some Discovery Channel, you're going to get some Discovery Channel, Nature Channel, branding, business, leadership. Let's go. Phenomenal morning, Bobby. How you doing, sir?
Doing phenomenal this morning. I went for my run as well. So I did my run this morning and I was feeling good. My theme for this day is who are you when the chips are down? Not that the chips are down in a bad way, but it's like when you're all in, I think it brings a different mindset, a different approach. And that's been my attack this year is, leave nothing in the tank, put it all on the field. Chips are down, like get it. So that's how I'm feeling this morning. That's how I approached my run this morning. And I'm excited to talk about our call this morning.
Very good. Very good, guys. You don't know who you are until the pressure's on. If you want to find out who you are, put some extra pressure, put some extra weight on your plates, like put some extra pressure on yourself. If you really want to find out who you are, wake up to a catastrophe or put yourself inside of one. So let me say it this way, right? If we're not always disrupting ourselves internally, then we're looking to be disrupted externally. One way or the other, you will find pressure. One way or the other, you will find pressure. The only question is, will it be the pressure that you put on yourself or the pressure that is put on top of you? It's up to you. Pressure is non-negotiable. Stress, non-negotiable. It's coming. I guarantee you, if you think you're in a comfortable position, get ready because it's going to come. So my suggestion to you would be to invite it in internally and welcome it in, make a place for it, set the table and get ready, because if not, then you're going to have an uninvited guest over for dinner.
Yeah.
There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So internal disruption, internal pressure. What does that look like? First, let me help you guys out. Share this out. Let me help you out, right? Share this out. That's the first degree of pressure. The first degree of pressure, share this out. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be greedy. Give to the needy, right? Share this out. Don't be greedy. Give to the needy. First degree of pressure. I'm going to have another one before we go to the break. I'm going to give you the first announcement, and I guarantee you that's going to be added pressure to you and added pressure to me. So the first degree of pressure is share this out. Now I'm going to follow back on the back end and see who actually does it, because it's one thing to hand off the ball. It's another thing to receive it.
100%. Sean, when it comes to pressure, when it comes to internal disruption, I was actually thinking about that maybe yesterday morning. This is something that I think about all the time. And to me, a great indicator of internal pressure is fear. So there's a saying, right? Dan Pena says something. He says, when you become fearless, life becomes limitless. And there's another old saying that goes, the cave wherein you fear to go, therein lies your treasure. So the cave there wherein you fear to go,
That's right.
therein lies your treasure. So an indicator of internal pressure to me is fear. And fear to me is a compass. It's an indicator of where you need to go. And removing fear is like releasing your brakes. So there's a phenomenal book by Jim Newman called Release Your Brakes, where he discusses the concept of emotion being like the primary thing stopping people from reaching their fullest potential. If we think about potential, most people have the potential to build a business. Like if you're listening to us right now, you have the potential, you have the, the mental ability, the physical ability to build a business. What often gets in the way is the inability to control the emotion. And I feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you walk towards your fear. Now, that's not to say that emotion is a bad thing, as I'm recently learning that emotion and logic need to come together in order to build a business. So logic is the systems part, but the emotional part is maybe the vision part, maybe the other part of the building block. But being able to control that emotion, put that pressure on yourself and move forward in the direction of your fear as an entrepreneur, as a human being, is often where your treasure lies.
Nice. Talk about it, Bobby.
I wrote down inward pressure creates introspection. That's what I was kind of getting from that. Because when you're in this state of inward pressure, you're also looking at how you respond more, I believe. And I think one of the good things about pressure is it shortens the distance between your stimuli and your response. So the more pressure that you have, the shorter the response is between what's stimulating you and how you're responding to that thing. And sometimes we can have so little pressure in our lives that the stimulations around us, we're not able to make the connection. And the reason I think this is very important is because that's why we don't really know who we are, I think. We don't know who we are because we don't have enough pressure on us revealing to us under proper situations how we're responding. Like the feedback loop is too vast. But what pressure does is it shortens the feedback loop. And when that feedback loop is so short that you're almost in a state of adrenaline, I believe that's where the miracles happen. And that's where a lot of businesses are built. They say necessity is the mother of creation. And I can see why that's so, because under extreme pressure, you find yourself in need of results. And I think that's what pressure is all about. Pressure helps you get into a state that drives results. And that's what businesses live off of, results.
Very good. Very good. So I wrote a couple things down myself while you were talking. Internal pressure, external texture. External texture, like the feel of an individual, the merit, the character. You won't know your character until you're under pressure or until you get rich. So if you want to see the pressure, you want to see the real character of a person, give them the ability. Give them the ability to have no restraint. Right? Because a lot of times we're extremely righteous when we're broke. We have a high degree of character when we have low ability. But give a person capability and watch their true character come out. Money is a magnifier, guys. So is power and influence. Trust me when I tell you this. Because when people are climbing their way to the top, and that's sometimes when you see people who crash and burn, you wonder what happened. What was the code switch? They had great character before they were successful. As a matter of fact, it would be the great character that made them successful, that rose them to the heights. They were respected. Look at the politicians, business leaders, mothers, fathers, and people that you know. They grind their way to the top. They get married. They take their spouse with them. And then as soon as they get to the top, they're like, I don't know if I really like you. I'm not really sure. Right. So when I was where I come from and I didn't have many options, you were the best choice. So I took the best choice at that time. But now that I have more options, I changed my mind and I changed my character and I changed my habituation. Now, we were talking yesterday about waking up early because we were going to other people's situations. Waking up early, working out, doing the meditation, the prayer, and all of the things that would prepare us to go attack the day for someone else. But then when it becomes our own business and we have a little bit of money, it's like, well, I'm going to sleep in now. I'm going to sleep in. We were talking about Bobby and how Bobby was in the military and how he was ripped, savage, ready to crush it in Kuwait, but come back home and it's like, those donuts are very tempting. Those donuts are very tempting now, right? So it's really a character check. Pressure is a character check. So I wrote down internal pressure, external texture, and universal measure. Universal measure. Because you'll be able to find out the qualifications of an individual after they're tested. After they're tested. Guys, so watch this. We're about to go to a break, but I wanted to give you guys something real quick to just show you what the test looks like, what it feels like. So what it feels like and what it looks like is this. I'm going to put it on myself because I believe to lead from the front. First one off the helicopter, last one off the battlefield, right? So we've been working on a website, detailed, fleshed out, extremely next level for you guys. So you guys can really understand, because there's a lot of people looking out from the outside of the brand, like what's going on inside of the brand. Who is Sean? What does the business really do? How do we look? What is it? What's the texture of it, right? So we've been working on this for more than 6 months. And we launch on Martin Luther King Day. Let's grow. I tell people all the time, I say coaching is a future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Emphasis on action and emphasis on process. We're going to show you how to not just coach like a leader, but to create your organization with a coaching culture. And then create your community of high-level clients who need and respect your ability to coach them on a high level. So again, this is not consultation. Consultation is being the expert. You do not have to be the expert in a vertical to be a coach in that vertical. What you do have to do is ask open-ended questions. What you do have to do is have active listening. Listen, when you get done with this course, you're going to be a master coach, a master executive coach. You can use this in whatever vertical you want to. If you want to do life coaching, this will help you. If you want to coach clients, coach teachers, coach students, this will help you. If you want to be an evidence-based executive coach and only work with professionals, that's what this program is going to allow you to do. But it's also going to help you to add a 0 to the back of your number because you will know what you're doing. This is not hype. This is not motivation. This is evidence-based. This is factual-based, data-based, driven by science, and exalted by performance. In brand clarity, exactly what you're going to get is what it sounds like. Clarity for your brand. What is your color? What is your logo? What is your unique value proposition? Who are you speaking to? Why? How should you speak to them? How should I position myself? That's what you're going to learn in brand clarity. You need other people to have the same clarity on your brand that you do. But this is the gap. If you don't have clarity on your brand, then no one else is going to have clarity on your brand either. It's like messaging. Your message sounds clear to you, but is your end user receiving the value that you're trying to provide? I guarantee you that after you go through brand clarity, they will, and so will you. And that's how you'll scale your brand. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that pressure on myself and my team with a public announcement, public service announcement, so you guys can be on the lookout because as of 11:59, January 14th, there will be a huge, huge monumental change for this business, this brand, and your user experience.
100%. And you know, I've seen the site, guys. It looks really, really nice. In fact, it's world class. It's really world class. And you know, I wouldn't just say that. So it looks really nice. There are still a few pages I haven't seen. Okay, I haven't seen all of the pages, but from what I've seen, it looks really good. So definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, super in depth. With all of your questions will be answered. Let me just say that all of your questions will be answered. And let me say this too. We added like 5 zeros and spared no expense on this.
Definitely. And just to sort of pick up where we left off, we were talking about pressure. So I wrote down 2 things. I wrote down create pressure where there is none. And then I wrote down the principle of growth. So I think pressure with leadership, Sean, is very important. Pressure and leadership, because you could put pressure on somebody, but it may not be to their benefit. Like it could be negative pressure. Okay. So criticism is a negative pressure to me. Constructive criticism is positive. Holding somebody accountable is positive. It's positive pressure. It's not that, I mean, you could hold somebody accountable to break them down, but you could also hold them accountable to build them up. If you see potential in somebody and you know where they could go and you know what they could do, but you don't hold them accountable, then to me, you're not putting that positive pressure. So there's a way to be tough and be firm and be very pressure putting on someone and help them to grow. So I think having leadership, combining positive leadership with pressure is the key for growth because it creates a space of accountability, which I've come to find is like a superpower. Accountability is like a flashlight.
That's right.
You put the flashlight on, what happens? Things start to run around. Things start to run around the house when you put the flashlight on. So accountability is a superpower. So that's what I would say. But definitely positive pressure through accountability, through positive leadership is definitely the key to growth. And that's for yourself and also for the people that you coach, the people that you guide, the people that you mentor, holding them accountable in a positive way and pushing them to growth is absolutely key to going to the next level.
Yeah, that was amazing, Junior. I wrote down the create pressure where there is none. I think that is very important for us as we are transitioning, because a lot of us have the education, experience, expertise, and we're transitioning from our career. And if you've been in your career like I was, a United States Marine Staff Sergeant, there's not a lot of pressure at that level, you know, so you have to create the pressure necessary to launch you out of your career if that's what you decide to do. Like I did, transition out of the military into, say, business, or transition from one career to entrepreneurship. You've got to create that pressure on yourself, especially when you get to a certain level in your career. So I thought that that was pretty insightful. But what I wrote down was pressure produces power, preventing paralysis. So a little bit of alliteration there. Pressure produces power, preventing paralysis. And the thought behind that was, if you stop moving, it's not because success stopped chasing you, but because you stopped playing the game. So imagine if you were playing a game of catch, tag, you're it, the game of it. And when you play this game, because I have two little girls and they play this game, they chase each other. And as long as one is looking back and sees the other person is chasing them, the one in front of them keeps on running. But the moment that my young daughters, once they look back and they see that the daughter has stopped chasing, or the one that's chasing them looks forward and sees that the one that was running stops running, like they're no longer playing the game, the one that was chasing them stops chasing. And I find that very interesting because I think life and success do the same thing. Like if you're running toward your goal, the pressure of life and the various interactions around you seem to work together to assist you in achieving your goal. But the moment you stop playing the game of self-development, the game of evolution and growth, it seems like the chase stops. But it's not really that the chaser stops, but it's you stop playing the game and it feels like things stop. And that's when I think the external pressure starts to just go haywire. So that's what I wrote. If you don't want to paralyze yourself, put the pressure on yourself. Keep moving.
Very good. Very good. So I'll give you a tripod analysis. Let me give you a tripod analysis, right? So with my announcement, what I did was I put pressure on myself first. That's leadership. Put pressure on yourself first. Public announcement. Like Junior said, superpower is accountability. Now the world can hold me accountable. Sean, you said X was going to happen on X date at X time. So it's no longer me now, it's you now. So watch this, guys. If it doesn't happen, hold me accountable. Jump up and down. Like I welcome the pressure. I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. I want all the problems. Obviously, when you designate yourself the leader, the CEO, you want all the problems, all the smoke, all the feedback. Most critical is most important. Negative feedback first. I was never the person to say, give me the good stuff first. Always give me the problem. That's what I do, solve problems. And if there are no problems, then we'll create some to make it interesting and get where we're trying to go. Second level of the tripod, I put pressure on my team. You haven't heard it. We haven't talked about it. But now, not only am I held accountable, Junior's held accountable. You know who else is held accountable? The entire team. Whoever's on the back end doing the work that they're doing, everyone knows now. It's public. It's serious. We said it. Done deal. Done deal. He must be serious about this one because, watch this, because, and I want you to check yourself with this, put some pressure on yourself. When I say this, we've had multiple launch dates. We've had multiple launch dates when I said we're going to do this on this day, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. How many times in your life, in your business, in your relationship, in your finances have you said X is going to happen and you pulled it back yourself and it didn't happen? 2024 is the year of accountability. 2024 is the year of accountability, execution, and exposure for non-execution. Execution and exposure for non-execution, because the execution is the most important factor. That stuff in your head is non-substantial. It's really non-substantial. There's no risk involved in what's in your head. There's no risk involved in how great you feel or how conflicted you feel or what you feel like you're going to do. There's no risk involved. The only time that risk is incurred is when you make it public. And that's the third tripod of this trifecta of pressure that we're talking about today. So now I'm pressured, must happen. Now my team is pressured, must happen. And now you're pressured because I've entrusted you with the accountability piece. You're entrusted now to make sure that our word, and we're going to go to break on this, our word is bond. From Harriet Tubman to Sojourner Truth to Rosa Parks, we have always been on a freedom run. Your LLC, your S Corp, C Corp, your business entity is what's going to give you the ability to go from your job, your industry wages, your 9 to 5, to the life of your dreams and the dream of your life. This is about you attaining all of the things that you could only possibly imagine and that our ancestors saw as not even being possible. Your freedom run, this is your freedom run. This is your moment. We're going to show you how to establish yourself as a business entity so you can go and come as you choose. There was a time when we needed permission slips to go from plantation to plantation. When you get a little bit older, you need permission slips to go from class to class. And when you get a little bit older, you get a vacation for 2 weeks, and then you have to come back after 2 weeks to your job, right? That's what they call it now, the 9 to 5, the gig. You might you work for 50 weeks and you get 2 off. The freedom run is when you establish your LLC and you're free for the rest of your life. So when you're young, mommy tells you to play nice. Play nice, Timmy. Let all of the other kids play too. But in business, it's not about playing nice. In business, it's about winning. It's about adding multiple zeros to your revenue. Now, of course, your staff wins. And when you win, other people win. However, when it comes to competition, you absolutely must dominate. You can't play for participation, and you can't play just to get along or just to get by, because business is serious. Business will help you to change the world, or the world will change you. Your people will either win or your people will lose based on your level of leadership, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you know about dominating. Yeah, I had to leave the room on that one and give somebody else notice. Like, yeah, it's a real thing. I just did that, right? I just made it public, guys. So listen, when I tell you that the accountability and the pressure is on to the nth degree, it's on you, it's on me, and it's on the team. Definitely being felt right now.
Yeah, Sean, I couldn't agree more about 2024, the year of accountability, the year of exposure.
That's right.
If you're on Twitter, and then you know what I'm talking about. There's so much going on, YouTube, Twitter. But I actually have a question for everybody looking at this. I want to know how many of you have stuck to your New Year's resolutions. So we're in day 6. So day 6, January 6th. How many of you have kept to your New Year's resolutions? Like, just be honest. Put a number 1 or number 2. How many of you have stuck to that? Man, listen, like for me, I could say I've definitely stuck to that. I've been consistent with my training throughout the year, so I haven't skipped one day as yet. Don't plan to. I've been reading every single day as well. In fact, I'm reading like 2 books right now. So I've been consistent, but you know, how many of you have been consistent? Like I was telling somebody the other day, Sean, it's all about winning today. It's all about today. Right. I don't focus on 365 days. I focus on how can I win today? When you do that, it's pretty easy to stay consistent. Now, okay, so I see Lawana said, I don't believe in resolutions. Once there you go. So, when I speak, I'm speaking to, the way that people interpret it and the way that they understand it, right? So people interpret goals as resolutions and, that kind of stuff. But we know that we're always changing and always growing throughout the year, right? So for the people who set New Year's resolutions, like if that's your lens, how many of you have stayed consistent with that? That's my question, and I'll pass it to Bobby.
No, that's a powerful question. That's a powerful question, and I'm thinking back to the first day of the new year for me. It was interesting. I got hit with everything but the kitchen sink. I said, "What? Wait, hold up! This is the first. How is it happening like this so fast?" And what I had to realize was that that's how I wanted the new year to start. I wanted, some people don't start fighting until they start bleeding. I'm one of those guys. Like, I'm one of those people that's like, and I was the same way in the military. Like, you've ever been fighting, and we trained a lot. So when you're fighting, you have the people that are just aggressive. You have the people that are more passive. And then you have the people that are sleeping giants. I was a sleeping giant normally. I wouldn't get all riled up until someone like hit me with a blow, knocked me on the deck, and I'm fuming. But when I get up, it's over. Like, I'm coming for blood. And that's kind of how the new year started for me. It just chin checked me. It put me on my back and it was like, you really want this? Is this what you want? Like, it would check me. It was trying to pump me. The new year tried to pump me. But I had to stand up on that 12 midnight and say, I'm here for it. I'm here for every bit of it. I was like, Sean, I want all the smoke. And I took that energy and I hit the day, the second, like I never left it. And then I hit the third, like it better know what it hurt. And I hit the fourth, like I'm here for it. And I hit the fifth, like you better get out the way. And I hit the sixth this morning with a run, saying that, hey, as hard as you coming, that's how hard I'm coming. So what I wrote down was the pressure pandemic. The pressure pandemic, a invisible wave that puts dreams on life support. This wave, like you better be at 6 feet distance between anybody that's got this contagious disease of complacency and comfort. Keep your distance, and 6 feet might not be enough. Wear a mask, the mask that says, I'm closed for any negativity. Like it needs to be on your face. And so like if they're walking past you, they need to know that you're not susceptible to the nonsense. Because 2024 being that year of accountability, that year of exposure, you're going to see some people coughing and you should be worried. You're going to see some people saying, hey, did you get your second dose? Did you get your second shot? That second shot of motivation, that second shot of discipline, that second shot of tenacity. Because if you're not loaded up, if you're not taking care of yourself, you will find that there's not enough respirators to keep these dreams alive these days. Because everybody's looking for the next coach, the next program, the next this, the next that. And I'm telling you, the hospitals are full. They're getting full. And what do they say? Wealth is health. So you better find some money so that you can get your healthy business looking right. Because the wealthy purchase the quality. And I say all of that to say, what do your investments look like for the health of your business and your future? I'll say that again. What do the investments look like for the health of your family and your future, your business? Because it's a wave and you can't stop it. It's adapting just like any other germ out there, any other virus. Like their technology and attention deficits, they're getting more and more creative with ways to zap your attention, zap your focus, zap your ability. Like it is a pressure pandemic, and comfort kills. So that's the energy I'm on, and that's kind of my response.
Comfort kills. I love it, guys. So let me ask you again. I asked you kind of before we went to the break and when we came back, what are the things that you said you were going to do? You can call them resolutions, solutions, commitments, intentions, whatever you want to call them. Call them what you want. I'm not biased to that. My question is, have you kept them? What did you say you were going to do 2022 that hasn't been done yet? What did you say you were going to do in 2023 that hasn't been done yet, that no one has seen, no ear has heard, nor eye has seen? What did you say you were going to do this morning that shifted? What did you say? What do you know you need to do but haven't done yet? What do you know that you don't need to eat anymore? What do you know that you need to start doing? What do you need to incorporate? What do you need to disconnect from? Oh, watch this. This is real good. Who? Forget about the what, forget about the how. Who does not deserve to be in your phone anymore? And who needs to be in your phone? Or watch this, who's in your phone that you know you need to call? Because you need someone, not the comfortable circle, right? Not the circus. The circus is real comfortable. All of the clowns laugh when you come to the show. I'm not talking about the supporting crowd, the corner market, or the, how they call it, the peanut gallery. I'm talking about the challengers in your phone who's going to tell you who you really are, what you really need to do, and what you're not doing. The people that are going to hold you accountable, the accountability A-team that you haven't called for a long time, because you know what you told them, and you know who you could be, and you know what you could be doing, but you don't want anyone else to hold you accountable the same way that you don't want to hold yourself accountable. See, this is the year of exposure. This is not about comfortability. This is about transparency and vulnerability, being honest, being transparent, being clear, right? Bobby talked yesterday about some losses he suffered, some serious impacts that he incurred based on the character piece that I was talking about. You reach a certain height, you could take off your seatbelt. You got to be strapped in anymore. It is conducive to complacency. Comfort and success is conducive to complacency. And when that happens, you need someone else who's going to say, buckle up, because we about to get rocky. We about to get rocky in here. $1 million is not enough. Add a zero to it. Who do you need to be? What do you want to? What do you really want to do? $1 million might be enough for you, but what about your family? What about the community? What about the people that you said you were going to help? Come on, let's talk. Let's talk.
Yeah, for me, it's all about like, when are you gonna draw the line in the sand? Like that's what it's about for me. Like, 2024, I looked at myself in the mirror, and certain things, I just said, like, when are you gonna draw the line in the sand? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to draw the line in the sand, guys. That's all it takes. And what I think it is, Sean, I think it's a lack of courage. Like, do you have the courage to finally draw that line in the sand? And that could be for people, that could be for situations, that could be for things. Like, the promises that you've broken, that you've made to yourself. Like, when would now be a good time to keep those promises? Like, when would now be a good time to draw that line in the sand? Like, really and truly, when would now be a good time? Like, you want to do something with your business, when would now be a good time? You want to do something for your health, when would now be a good time? There's somebody that you need to call, when would now be a good, like, guys, we can't let 2025
When would now be a good time? I love it. Let's go.
We can't let 2025, roll around and we haven't, like, that's just not going to happen for me. And I know for many of you looking, that's just not going to happen. Like, it's time to draw the line in the sand and go after what you want, whatever that is. And you all know what it is. There's some kind of commitment that you're not making to yourself, whether it's business, family, relationships, wealth, health, whatever that is for you. Like, when would now be a good time? There's a saying, the best time to plant a tree is like 10 years ago. And the next best time is today. So guys, like, just think to yourself, what do you actually want? The promises that you've broken to yourself. And I was reading the comments. I noticed that some people, they put some stuff in there. They say, well, because when you ask that question about how many of you have flip-flop and you've tried to do this and you've gone back on that, and like, guys, like, when would now be a good time to just draw the line in the sand and tell yourself, like, this is where I need to be, this is what I need to do, and just do it. It might be a tough conversation with yourself, but you just have to do it. And I really and truly feel like when people actually take that step, Sean, and they actually do what they say they're gonna do, and they actually keep like one promise to themselves, then they develop the courage to keep the next one, and they keep the next one. And people sometimes they fear success, which is something I've learned and I found very, very interesting. There's something called the fear of success. There's the fear of failure, and then there's the fear of success. Like some people have said to me, like, just my personal experience, I know if I work with you that I'll be successful. But check this out. What does that mean? That means that certain things you cannot do, certain places you cannot go, certain things you may not be able to eat. Just little things. They don't want to let go of the identity, the person that they are today, so that they could become the person that they need to be for tomorrow.
That's right.
And my question to the people that experience this, and listen, I'm not, I'm no different from you. I've experienced this myself. But for me, I've drawn the line in the sand. And like Sean is saying, 2024, year of exposure, starting with yourself. How are you holding yourself accountable? How are you exposing you to you? There's a great meme, Sean. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Everybody knows about Scooby Doo, right? You all know about Scooby Doo, yeah?
Oh yeah,
Scooby-Doo. So you know what I mean? So Scooby-Doo, they go around looking for monsters and stuff. And Fred always unmasks the monster, okay? So there's a meme where Fred is unmasking the monster. And I saw this and it says, when I finally catch the person that has been ruining my life all this time, he unmasked the monster. And guess what? It's him. It's like him. So my question is like, when are you going to stop self-sabotaging yourself? When your self-image, your self-esteem, your self-confidence don't align, you self-sabotage. So when are you going to draw the line in the sand and stop being the biggest hurdle to your success? And that's my question to everybody looking at this right now.
That's good, Junior. That's really good. As I've been going through this process with you and Sean, Sean primarily has been he's been poking the bear. He's been poking the bear, and he is finally waking up inside of me. It's finally waking up because there are parts of you, if you're anything like me, that you put to sleep. And you put those parts of you to sleep probably because you weren't able to control those parts of you, so to speak. And where I'm going with this is a wolf that doesn't show their teeth isn't a wolf at all. Like a wolf that doesn't show their teeth is like lunch meat. And sometimes we can become lunch meat in the marketplace. We can become lunch meat in our lives, not because we're not wolves, but because we cover our teeth. And when other people growl at us, we tuck our tails between our legs and we walk the other way. See, it's you versus you. And when you look in the mirror and you say what I'm going to do, and the pressure and the past failures and the other limiting beliefs growl at you, sometimes you can do what I did. You can tuck your tail between your legs and go back to sleep. I'll do it when I wake up. I'm tired. It's 2 a.m. Who's getting up this early? Or you can do like I've also done and look myself in the mirror with the military uniform on, with the rifle on my chest at 2 a.m. in the morning, understanding that if I go back to sleep, somebody's son might not come back home. I told y'all, Sean's been poking the bear. Coming back with a vengeance. Like I shaved the face because I'm getting back into that military mindset. Like what I wrote down is that sometimes we can get so caught up in expectation management that we forget that it should be expectations demanded. That's how we are in the military. Like we don't manage expectations in the sense that, oh, this is what's probably going to happen. Oh, this is how we want to respond. No, we have contingency plans for kicking in the door, stepping on the neck of the opponent and closing the width and destroying the enemy. That's what we do. And when you have that type of mindset, you're not afraid. You have what we call in the Marine Corps our core values: honor, courage, commitment. Honor yourself and honor your word. Commit yourself to the goal, to the vision, and do not stop until it's done. Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing that must be done in the face of fear with honor and commitment to the goal. And when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, nothing can stop you. Don't be afraid to show your teeth. That's what I'm saying with my piece. Is like, don't be afraid to look yourself in the mirror, to pull your hair back in a bun, put on a workout sports top and get after it. Don't be afraid to take your top off if you're a male, look yourself in the mirror and say, this ain't it. I got to do better. I got to do more. I gotta get it. I got to sweat. I got to grind. The people that I do it for are enough. And that's like my piece on this, is that expectation management is okay. It's great. You expect you to do well. You manage the expectation and fail. Let's get into expectation demanding. Demand the expectation that you're looking for and don't stop until it's done, even if you fail. Keep going. Do it again.
I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, so we're not going to go to a break right now. We're going to keep going until this is over, right? Because most people say they want an accountability partner, but they don't really know what an accountability partner is. A lot of people say they want an accountability partner. They just want a shoulder to cry on. They don't really, really want an accountability partner. You know where accountability partners are found? The truest and the most honest accountability partners are found on the other side of a sizable investment. On the other side of a very, very sizable investment. Now let's talk about this. The size of the accountability will be based on the size of the investment. So if you want a little bit of truth, you pay a little bit of an investment, and they'll give you a little bit of accountability. You want a higher degree of truth, you pay a little bit more for a higher degree of truth and sincerity. If you want to be stared through and you want someone to give you the God honest truth, no matter what you think or how you feel, then you have to pay an extreme amount, because those people have so much money, they don't care about your money. And they don't care how you feel or whether you like them or not. Most times when we get into relationships hoping or insignificantly making investments so that the accountability is insignificant. And it's comfortability, because the person who you're paying doesn't really want to offend you, because they might just turn away your contract. They might just run you away. Right? And they're like, no, I don't want to say things too harsh, because I might offend them, or they might leave and they might not come back and I might not get paid tomorrow. You need people who don't care about your payment, because they're going to tell you the truth, because it's a higher purpose than just payment. See, over here, we put people over profit, value over valuation, and meaningfulness over money. We've said it over and over and over and over, commitment over compensation all day, right? So when we talk, there's certain people who can talk and you could tell they don't really care how you take it. They care how you make it. They care what your outcomes are. So I'm going to say a couple of things, because I just want you to check. Look around. There's some people who aren't here today because it's Saturday. They were here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Why? Because they were waking up for somebody else. They were waking up to go to work, so it was convenient for them to turn this on. Now it's Saturday, the day when most people sleep in, so it's inconvenient for them. And because it's inconvenient for them, character shows a defect, a flaw, a crack. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. I put something in the chat. Lawana said that this is tough love this morning. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, it starts with us, though. That's how you know it's sincere. So I started this off by putting the boot on my own neck, and then the boot on my team's neck. And then we proceeded to put some love on you guys, right? I want you to think about the level of your commitment, and the level of your outcomes. Like Bobby said, it's not about what you do or how you do what you do. It's all about who you do what you do for. That's what's important. Who do you do it for? That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, your commitment will match your level of love for the people who you're committed to, and nothing in between. Nothing in between. All that really good, motivational, inspirational, gooey stuff in the middle will not make you money, will not make you success, and will not make you hold true to your values. You want core values, you need someone to go through the war with you, or someone to pull you until you can push others. That's what this looks like. And that's the dream. But in order to turn the dream into the reality, guys, there's a reason why we're launching on Martin Luther King Day. You're going to hear this all week long. In order to turn the dream into the reality, you need discipline. You need discipline. Not a pat on the back. Sometimes you might need a kick in the stomach.
So I wrote down pressure plus leadership equals coaching.
Whew. Ooh, a certain kind of coaching. That's not everybody's coaching program, brother.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
You're right. Here, definitely.
So
say it again.
So pressure plus leadership equals coaching. Because I recently, or just a few minutes ago, I spoke about pressure and leadership, and I'm thinking to myself, like those conversations, like when you talk about having people hold you accountable, that's what I was referring to, like that positive pressure. And
that's right.
It's about when you have a coach that knows or understands pressure and leadership and can hold you accountable, it becomes positive. I don't really see how somebody could take it negatively. If you're coming across as a coach and you're coming across with love and you're coming across with tough love, like Lawana was talking about, like you have to have a really sort of stagnant type mindset to not appreciate something like that, in my opinion. So when we talk about having those conversations, Sean, I think that those conversations should be approached like a coaching conversation. And that's why I wrote down pressure plus leadership equals coaching. Because coaching is a series of questions where you're questioning the person and having them question themselves. So it's like, hey, Bobby, you said that you were going to do this at the beginning of 2024. Is that correct? Yes. So this means that was supposed to get done, right? Yes. Did that get done? Yes or no? Why did you think it didn't get? So you're asking that person and you're forcing them to question themselves. I'm not telling Bobby like, hey, Bobby, you said you were going to do this, you didn't do that. And like I'm trying to fight him. No, I'm trying to help him by helping him to help himself and helping him to, by having that pressure and that leadership and approaching him from a coaching type perspective, I can assist him to assist himself and to increase his level of accountability. And the last thing I'll say, because I know we have to exit, is we often talk about the who and not the what. So my question to you is, how much do you love them? How much do you love them? So I was thinking the other day, now I come from a family, like many of our people, we have like diabetes and all this kind of thing, like on both sides of my family. So I'm thinking like I need to change my diet, right? And then there's some times where you feel like eating something that you shouldn't eat. Okay.
That's right.
Now, if you're in the business, not really business, but if you're in the space where you want to change a generational curse in your family, let's say your family has a history of diabetes or history of some other disease, and you say, you know what, I'm going to change my diet so that this doesn't continue. Sometimes you could come across a situation where, okay, you want to stray from what you set for yourself, right? And it's not a question of if you love that person, it's a question of how much do you love that person.
Ooh.
So people say they do it for their kids. Of course you love your kids. Like nobody's questioning that. Absolutely not. The question is how much. Do you love them enough to hold yourself accountable and to stick to what you said you was going to do? Or do you want to deviate sometimes? Like Lawana says, it's tough love this morning. It's tough love. Listen, guys, that's where I'll stop today. But you know what you need to do. Like, listen, everybody listening to this call right now, you know what you need to do. Look at the person in the mirror and just get it done. Draw the line in the sand, get it done. Because we all know what we need to do. I do, Sean does, Bobby does, and also do you. So just do what you need to do. 2024, year of exposure for you and for everybody else.
Very good. We got a question. We got a question. Let me answer that question, right? So, and I don't know who this is. I'm not sure who this is because they're not identified on Facebook. And I've got a couple people that do that sometimes. But in a moment of vulnerability, how does one get around the funds to invest with negative credit? In the most polite but transparent and honest and genuine way that I can say this, negative credit comes from negative character defects and lack of discipline. Don't take a piece of cake too big for you to handle. Don't do it. So bad credit comes from bad circumstances, but bad circumstances come from people who did not, for some reason, something or other, did not go according to plan. So somebody planned it too big. You ever heard the term write a check bigger than you can cash? Hope is not a strategy. Sometimes we take out loans and we take out debt because we hope something, but we don't force something or make something or hold our face to the fire of what we said we were going to do. That's why when we went to the first break, I said, word is bond. Your word has to be bond. Credit is a small test of your character and the ability to say something and then do something, because when we make a contract with someone, we're giving our word. When we write something down, we're giving our word. John Hancock, we're writing something down. We're giving our commitment to do something at a said time. My relationship, listen, I can lose credit and be divorced if I don't keep my word to myself first, to my wife next, and to my family after that. I'll lose credibility, which means I'll have a negative credit score because I said I was going to do this 10 times in a row and I didn't do it. So my credit score starts at an 820, guys. Do you know that? Like, your credit score starts high. Just like when you go to college, you start at a 4.0. And then everything you don't do to an excellent degree takes you from a 4.0 to a 3.8. And then the next thing you miss takes you from a 3.8 to a 3.5. And then you get somewhere to a 2.4 if you don't change. So same thing with a credit score. No credit is really the best credit. And then you do something wrong and it takes you from an potential 820 to a 760. And then you miss a payment, takes you from a 760 to a 640. And then you're late paying something back, or you're all in debt. You take out all of the debt and you're paying back the minimums, which means you're going to pay 10 times the principal. But what happens is it takes you from a 640 to a 520. So listen very closely. If you want to change your credit score, you have to change your character score. Credit comes from inside of you. I said earlier that your internal pressure results in external texture. When you test that credit score, when you look at, I was going to say this too, like your physicality, your physical musculature, the mirror is the acid test for that. You know whether there's a beast hiding inside of you. You know that. Your bank account is your business acid test. You know whether there's more potential inside of you. Your credit score is your character acid test. You know whether you kept your word or not. So if you want to change your credit score, it starts on the inside. Change your commitments and then keep your word from this point forward, and it will begin to change. I guarantee you this. This is something that I had to do, something that Junior had to do, Bobby had to do. We all have to do this. And watch this. My credit score can't help Junior. Much as I like him, as good as a dude as I know he is, as good as a father that I know Bobby is, do you think that I'm going to co-sign for someone with bad credit so they can prove the same character and tarnish mine? I'm sorry. But money don't help money problems. Money doesn't solve money problems. You need to really go deep and look at it. Do the history. Look at it. Where did I default? Where did I fall short? What did I say I was going to do? You lose a job, you get another job, or you create a job. I've lost jobs. I created a job that nobody can take from me. So I'm going to end with this real quick, guys. I know that was I hope that was received the right way. I don't know who I was speaking to, but that's just my universal truth. I hope that it's received the right way, and I think we can all probably take a piece from it and get what we need from it. But me personally, I hope everybody else feels the same, but I know I do. We turn low performers into high performers or into hiding.